Me, Kayla. Okay, so today I want to talk about 5 ways to prepare your body for IVF. And so I've done IVF before. I did it for a year and a half. I welcomed our son after that, after 5.5 years of infertility. So that was amazing. But it did take a long time, and we did go through 3 ERs of IVF, and that's egg retrievals, and we had to do 4 frozen embryo transfers to have success. So I have a little bit of knowledge, personal knowledge about IVF. Disclaimer here, I'm not a doctor or a health professional of any kind. These are just my opinions and my personal story about what I've been through. And don't take it as gospel. It's just random person's opinion on the internet, so you take that as what you will. All right, I wrote it down because I can't remember anything. Things to prepare your body for IVF. Number 1, prenatals and supplements. So, prenatals and supplements. I take a prenatal all the time. I've been taking a prenatal since I was like 19 because back then I read that like women should just be taking prenatals all the time, which I don't necessarily think is true because I think there's a lot more iron in there than you typically need for every day if you're not pregnant or trying to get pregnant. But that's what I used to do, and that's what I still do, especially since I started trying to conceive over 6 years ago now. Wow, so long. But anyways, I always take prenatal. I always take vitamin D, as pretty much everyone should, especially if you live in a place that's not very sunny all the time. And you should always take these supplements at least 3 months before you plan to get pregnant so that they're good storage in your body. Does that make sense? Maybe. So the vitamins are stored well in your body. Sure, let's go with that. And I also take the fish oil, the omega-3s, every day because I hear it's good for brain and brain health. Yeah, so I do that, and that's supposed to be good for like baby's brain health. So I don't substitute my supplements depending on what I'm doing. I just take the supplements that I know are good for egg retrievals, or that I think are good for egg retrievals and transfers, and when you're pregnant. And I just take those all the time. It's just easier for me because I'm really scatterbrained. So it's difficult for me to just switch it up depending on what I'm doing. So I just take those 4 all the time. It really depends. You do what you want to do, but you should always take a prenatal vitamin or multivitamin, vitamin D for sure. And folate's really important too, but it's in the prenatal. I don't take extra folate because I do eat a lot of leafy greens. So there's a lot of folate in those. So I'm not really worried about my intake with that. And number 2, eat healthier. So it can be very stressful to think about changing your diet as well as going through IVF. So take this with a grain of salt. You do whatever you can, right? Don't stress yourself out changing your entire diet and like from eating processed foods and, red Kool-Aid all the time to eating nothing but natural whole foods. That's kind of stressful, right? To overhaul everything, but just try what you can. But changing everything would be stressful. So, just do what you can to try to make your diet a little healthier. Don't stress yourself out about it because you already got a lot of stressful stuff going on because you're going through infertility and you're going through IVF. So that's enough. You don't need any more. And so do whatever you can to improve your diet. For me, that means trying to eat 1 more vegetable a day than I already do. So I primarily live off of fruit, I feel like, especially during the summertime, which I know isn't bad, but I really would like to incorporate 1 more vegetable. I always have a vegetable with dinner, but I just want to include one with lunch as well. I usually do, but I just want to make a conscious effort of it. So try to eat healthy foods. There is, like going around, people say the Mediterranean diet is good for egg retrievals. There's not a whole lot of evidence on that. But if you want to try to, oh, sorry, my nose is itchy. So there's not like a whole lot of evidence on the Mediterranean diet, but there's like casual correlation there. So if you want to focus on that, do that. If for some people, having that control over their diet is very helpful because there's so much with infertility and IVF that you don't have control over. And for other people, it's stressful. It's just another stressful thing to think about. So you know what kind of person you are. Don't stress yourself out more, but still try to make healthy choices, right? Do what you can. Don't stress about it because there's people that eat garbage, trash food all the time. They get pregnant, so it can happen. Exercise. So I don't run during my IVF cycles. Obviously not during the egg retrieval because you can risk ovarian torsion. So that's why they tell you like no twisting and stuff like that because your ovaries get really large and they're so big that they can twist onto themselves and that can cause injury or you lose one of your ovaries, which is bad. Fallopian tube, we can like cut off the blood flow and blood supply and stuff like that. Not good. But anyways, whenever I do an egg retrieval or I'm doing a transfer cycle, low impact, they say don't get your heart rate over 140. I just walk because sometimes you can't get in the water to swim. That's a low impact activity, but sometimes it's not possible depending on the medication you're going through or if you've had a procedure, you're bleeding a little bit, no water, no tubs, stuff like that. So it really depends on where you're at. So walking, always great exercise. A lot of people can do it. It's very inclusive and it's just nice to get your body moving. Don't stress yourself out again with the exercise thing. I would say just go for walks. That's what I do. I can't run anymore, which is something that I do enjoy doing when I'm not doing IVF, when I'm not going through egg retrievals or transfer cycles or bleeding all the time. I love to run. It's great. It's very freeing for me and it feels good and you get wonderful endorphins. And, I like high impact, sports and exercise as well, but that's a no-go when you're doing IVF. Low impact, my clinic says your heart rate needs to be below 140. And they do say, if you have been running before, you can still run, but just keep the heart rate under 140. I don't do that. I just, again, it stresses me out. It's too many rules. When there's too many things, it's just too much for me. So I know myself, and I know that whenever I would be running, I'd be like, oh, is this too hard? Is this okay? Am I all right? I don't know. So I just don't do that because it's too stressful for me. So I just walk, which I think is a wonderful low impact exercise. So getting your body ready, getting it moving, walking, do some exercise. Light, low impact exercise. Very good for you. Number 4, mental health. So, as I said earlier in this video, IVF is stressful. It can be very stressful for a lot of people. Some people it's not stressful for. For me, it was very stressful. Infertility was very stressful. This time around, it's not as stressful for me because I had success. We have a baby. Amazing. Love it. So good. Light of our lives. For real, though. And so it's not as stressful this time around because I feel like it's not an all for nothing thing. I've already found success. Anything after this is a bonus. It's a bonus. I know for people with secondary infertility, which is when you're able to conceive spontaneously with your first child, but not so much with your second, and you're having difficulties the second time around. That is a different story because that is a whole different side of infertility. Like, I don't understand that side because I had infertility trying to get pregnant originally. I wasn't easily able to get pregnant originally. Actually, it's funny. I did, but I had a miscarriage. So, that is a story for another time. But some people, they're able to get pregnant spontaneously and have a baby, and then the second time around it's very difficult for them. So that would be a very stressful time, in their lives. But taking care of your mental health during IVF is so, so, so important, okay? You can do yoga. You can write in a journal. those walks, 2 for 1 right there. Low impact exercise, good for mental health. And, make sure you have somebody to talk to, whether it's your friends, whether it's a therapist. All IVF clinics that I know of have resources for therapy, because IVF can be very stressful, and it can be very helpful to talk to a therapist that specifically is for infertility and IVF challenges. So really take care of your mental health. I feel like even though IVF is very physically intensive, it can be with the medications and with the procedures and surgeries and things like that. The hardest part about IVF is the mental game of it. So you really need to take care of your mental health. And you never know how that's going to rear its head. I got really bad postpartum anxiety post-birth. I thought it was going to be the happiest time of my life, and really it was. We had this baby, but I was so anxious, so worried about something that was happening to him, that was going to happen to him. So you just never know when you're going to have a mental health crisis, and that's why it's really important to try to set yourself up for success. Know the resources you have and use them, and don't be afraid to ask for help, because brave people ask for help for sure. And then number 5, I just put others, miscellaneous. Again, so number 5 is like alcohol. Don't do that. Don't do alcohol and drugs. It's not good for you. It's not good for you when you're trying to conceive. Something that I do is I don't drink coffee anymore. I don't drink alcohol anymore. Not that I drink a lot of alcohol anymore, but I used to when I was younger. Of course, we all did back in college. Well, maybe not all of us, but I definitely did. Had a good time. It was fun. But yeah, I do enjoy alcohol. It's fun. But no more. At this point, I think I'm going to stop. I'm about to have the second shot of Lupron, so I'm only a month out from starting my transfer cycle. I like to have like a nice month beforehand where I try to like clean things up before it's my transfer cycle month. To each their own. Some people start earlier, some people start later. Some people are like, I'm just going to keep living my life the way I want to live my life. And if I get pregnant, I get pregnant. If I don't, I don't. But that other stuff just stresses me out. So do what is going to help you know yourself and try different things. You could just try one of these things, during one of your transfer cycles, like journaling or something like that. And the next time, like, oh, maybe I'll do some walking too, get some exercise in, and try to eat less candy. I don't know, whatever it is. And so I cut out coffee. They say 200 milligrams of caffeine a day is fine. But again, for me, it's like, where is the line here? I know you can look it up, but it's just easier for me to like cut it out and just not do it. So I'm going to stop drinking coffee. Not that I have been drinking a lot of coffee. I stopped drinking coffee a long time ago when we started trying to conceive and doing IVF and things like that. And I drank coffee again recently, and oh my gosh, what a rush. That was crazy. Coffee is a super drug, and I can't believe everyone's drinking tons of it all the time. Or that I ever did, because it seems so intense to me now. But I have been drinking decaf because I love a good coffee. Love the taste of coffee. I love a little bit of caffeine. Not that much, though, nowadays. And it's just so nice to go for a walk, have a coffee. You're in a shop, have a coffee. It tastes amazing. It feels so good, Hot in the wintertime, cold in the summertime. That's how I like it. And refreshing, beautiful. Life is great. It's one of those little things that you just like love about life. That's how I feel. So those are my 5 things to prepare your body for IVF, and I guess your mind, but I guess I wrap those together, body and mind. But yeah. So if you have any questions or you have any other tips, leave them for me. Let me know what you do. What do you do to prepare? What do you do during your IVF? Embryo transfer. What do you do during your IVF egg retrieval? I did those backwards. But, whatever. Just rolling with the punches. All right, talk to you later. Bye.